Hiya, hiya! It's the Improv Cook, and we are always making something. Today we're making a simple dish of green beans tossed in some olive oil and just a little salt. We're going to keep it simple because what we're going to do is roast these on this baking sheet, and they'll be in the oven. So I love working with sheet pans for roasted vegetables, baking tofu. And so while I've got my oven going with another dish, I'm going to toss these in olive oil. And then I am going to roast them at 375 for about 15 minutes. So these green beans are fresh, and they're going to go right into the sink. We're going to give them a quick rinse. And you can see that there are some nice ends still attached, so I'll get those off with a knife and then let them drip dry, and then toss them in some olive oil. So what I'm going to do to prep these beans is pretty simple. I'm just snipping off the ends that have the stem attached. And so these ends look pretty good to me, so I'm not even going to worry about those. So I'm just going to grab a handful. I'm going to try and see where I've got stems to snip off. I'm going to inspect the other end, and when they're yucky, snip, snip. If they're not yucky, I just keep going. And it'll take me just about 3 minutes to get through these beans, grabbing them by 3 or 4 at a time. Oops, there we go. You can hit pause. These green beans are super fresh. I've got them all trimmed up. Those are my snippings. And so now I'm going to dry these off with a tea towel. Why are we drying off green beans that have just been rinsed? Because oil and water repel each other. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and just tap on those, get those dry. So now that I have those damp dry, I'm going to just pour a little bit of olive oil. It would help if I have the cap open. Boink. Look, magic. Now the cap is open. So I will pour a bit of oil on there. I did not measure it out. I got a little bit more than I wanted. I would say a ½ tablespoon would be about right. That's 2 teaspoons. Just going to toss those in the oil. Get them coated. And then you're going to space them out. Why do we space out things on a baking tray? Because if you're baking veggies and you have them piled on top of each other, they mostly steam rather than roast. So you want even heating, which means you're going to have these all touching the metal pan. And space them out and pop them in the oven. These are my green beans just with about 5 minutes in the oven. As you can see, they are still quite al dente, but a fork goes into them easily. I'm not going to roast these so far that they get brown and wilty. That's not my intention. I just want a little bit of flavor, and I didn't want to steam them. So I'm going to give these another 5 minutes for about 12 minutes total. These are my green beans after 12 minutes. This is exactly the way I want them. So at this point, you can squirt a little mustard on there and toss them further. You can just put some sea salt and pepper or spices of your choice. But this is the level of roasting I want. I don't want them green and withered and dried out, or brown and withered and dried out. I want them green, still firm, and still juicy. That is it for your roasted beans on a single sheet pan. And follow us with Always Making Something, and I'm on the Improv Cook on Facebook.